Let's take a deep breath. Just release all that old shit. Just release it. Let it go. Right? Y'all want to know something? You really want to know? All right. The New Year's, the real New Year's, it's not today. Right? Why do I say this? What do I mean by this? When is the real New Year's? Is the question, right? Why I say this, and to understand why I say this, is because to understand, we have to first be willing to broaden our scope outside of the pagonomics, outside of the programming that has told us that the new year happens from December 31st to January 1st, right? It takes one day, and understand where we are at energetically, where we are at cyclically. Because what has happened is due to this system, right? They tell us that the shift happens here, but we haven't taken the moment to ask ourselves where we are at energetically. And to answer that question, we're in winter, right? And when it comes to that winter energy, the winter energy is about taking that time to enter retreat, to reflect, to pause, to slow down, to be patient with yourself so that you can begin to relinquish those things that are keeping you limited. Begin to face those things, to face those shadows. However, they tell us that now we need to be focusing on new things. Now we need to be centering our energy on the new year, new me, right? However, that can leave us out of alignment with nature and our true essence, because we're now shifting our energy into trying to bring new things into our experience when we haven't dealt with the things that are still in the closet, right? The things that are still in the subconscious, right? Things that are still dictating our triggers and things like that. And so I don't mention this to be no Debbie Downer. I know we got our celebrations and things like that. But as we enter this major shift, right, on a macro level, that being the Aquarian age, that cyclical cycle of information, death, and rebirth, what is important is that we give depth to these old perspectives. We give depth to these old paradigms. And that comes with being willing to relinquish seeing life from this surface level programming that we've been told to see life from. And what I mean by this, and I'm gonna tell you when the real New Year's is, just stay tuned with me. What I mean by this is, if you look at the holidays, right? The holiday, and I dropped a live talking about this, how the holidays have been set up to, stunt our spiritual growth. When you look at the holidays and you see that, Thanksgiving is focused on buying things and then gluttony, and then Christmas focused on buying things and then gluttony, right? And so you have now turned, winter into this thing that begins to get our energy focused on materialism, on gluttony. When in truth, winter is when the veil between the spiritual realm and the physical realm is thin. It's great for healing. It's great for dealing with things in the subconscious mind and the ancestral lineage. It may be uncomfortable, as we've been talking about here on the channel, but that's what's necessary, right? That's what the cycle of winter is for. Each cycle holds its purpose. And so if we can begin to leave the surface level eyesight of this experience that we've been programmed into, we can begin to see from that remembrance of the divine being that we are, from that remembrance of the power we hold, of the reflections of nature that we are. And this remembrance allows us to move in tune with nature's cycles, which leaves us to begin to know that the real New Year's lies in March. And to be more specific, the spring equinox, when the seasons and the cycle begin to change on that level. And it's in that where the plants begin to renew. The the trees start to grow their leaves back. You start to see things start to blossom. So instead, right, you watching this video right now, instead of focusing your energy on trying to be like, this day has shifted, now I am a new person and I will focus on getting in the gym, doing this, doing this, doing this, and you may be coming off not a lick of discipline, so that's even going to be harder. Instead of trying to do that, start planning. Start asking yourself, okay, take your New Year's resolution, right? Take your New Year's resolution and turn it into a map. Start asking yourself, okay, what person needs to evolve for me to really achieve the things that I said, right? For me to really put together the things that I see in my mind. That's what winter is for things to marinate, for you to face what no longer serves you so that you can embody what spring has for you, what that evolution has for you. I'm not telling you to sit down and do nothing. Sometimes that's what's called for. But what I'm saying is, as a gardener would not plant in the middle of winter, we should not be focusing on trying to plant new seeds in the middle of winter. This time is for pausing, for reflecting, doing that inner healing, looking to evolve. And that requires patience. That requires listening to your energy. All the things we've been talking about here on Elevated Talk. So if you want to do anything, I suggest subscribe and check out the lore. But on a serious note, it's just remembering our connection, remembering the divine beings that we are. And this remembrance allows us to start tapping in to the power, to bring light to our mind so that we are no longer fooled, right? Which is a whole lore on why they call April Fools, right? We are no longer fooled by these pagonomics. This is what they are. If you look at the origins of these holidays, you look at what it really took and how these holidays came about, it's dark shit. All meant to keep the propaganda alive. And you watching this video, have to be willing to leave that system first in our mind and then move in it, right? And that's how we begin to add this. That's how we begin to add to this shift that we are going through, to bring this new world into existence. But it starts by understanding our connection with the cosmos, with nature, right? Looking at your astrology. And when I say that, it's not to say that because this planet is here, it means I'm going to act like this. But it's understanding that we are reflections. In the same way that the moon affects the waves and the tides, we are made up of 70% water. So of course, when the moon is in a certain position, it's going to reflect things within our experience. And the same thing with the sun, same thing with the different planets, along with other modalities within our experience that reflect our energies and hold essences that hold information for us to learn about. It gets deep, but on a simple level, it starts by broadening our scope, by choosing to remember that we are more than just these physical bodies, that we are more than just this system's these systems batteries per se, right? I know I'm going here and there, but if you staying with me, you staying with me, right? This perspective truly is what it will take to bring this new world. Because 2025, when 2025 comes about, right? I know that's gonna throw people in the loop and shit. When 2025 comes about, right? It's again linear. That 2 + 2 + 5 is 9. And that 9 is cycle ending. But for cycles to end, they have to rise, right? And I've been talking about this on the channel. They have to rise so that we can see it consciously and then let go of it, right? But sometimes it comes with pain. It comes with, heads button. And so we have to be willing to see from that higher perspective, especially right now. And that starts with remembrance. So if you want to remember, check out the lore on the channel. But honestly, the remembrance starts with you. It starts with you being willing to take the time to be there for yourself, to face those things that you may be running from, subconsciously or consciously, right? Because that'll allow for for the version of you that, achieves all your New Year's resolutions to evolve, rather than trying to, come off no discipline, or be like, it's a new me, so I'm gonna be able to do this, this, and this, simply because a day has switched and a month has switched, right? So right now, and also I want to mention, okay, we did have a new moon, and I don't negate that. New moons are great for manifestation. If you was gonna celebrate anything, we could celebrate the new moon, right? And this just gets me into, like, there are always going to be macro cycles, and then within those macro cycles, micro cycles. So while yes, the new moon acts as, you know new beginnings and manifestation, macroly, we have to remember we're in winter. So yes, there's cycle enders, but we're still in that winter. It's still time to let that energy marinate, to let what we're seeing for ourselves marinate. Ask ourselves, okay, what needs to evolve for me to really embody that? What affirmations, what daily practices do I need to pick up? And these words roll off, but recently in my experience, like, it gets difficult, right? Like, comfortability, it calls for us. And it's just finding that balance in between, listening to our energy, not forcing ourselves into things, but also, staying disciplined. And that's something that I've been flowing with in my experience, and just staying in the heart, moving in that heart space, moving in your knowing, being confident in your, decisions and things of that nature, listening to your energy. All these things add to you remembering who the fuck you are. And that's important right now, because the games are going to be played, and they're going to continue to play their games, because they count on us being fools so that they can continue to do the things that they did. But the amount of light that's coming into our experience right now, we shine in all of it, right? The spiritual essence that's coming through right now, we shine in all of it. And with this shift, this age of Aquarius that we're in, this new year 2025 being that cycle ending year, all of that shit's finna, it's finna get tore up. But when it gets tore up, we, as higher conscious beings, have to be willing to be there for the rebuild. But for us to be there for the rebuild, we got to be there for ourselves first for the rebuild. We got to be there for our inner world first, to take out what no longer serves us and to replace it with what does. So to end this, I want to say the mission remains the same. And this mission is something that, has come to us in the past videos, in the past few weeks of our experience, is to impact and inspire deeper realization within all beings, right? And that looks different for everybody, right? And remembering what I said, it's like it starts with you. So how do you impact yourself? How do you inspire yourself? For me, I've been called to, get out more. Gotta get out the crib, go talk to people, go mingle, go speak, right? And so it looks different for everybody. But just feel that. Like, say it to yourself. Impact and inspire deeper realization within all beings. What does that mean for you? That's the mission. The mission remains the same. Just be there for yourself. Winter is still here. Whatever you see for yourself, see it, envision it, write it down, right? Ask yourself, what will it take for me to evolve? And go for it, right? Take the aligned action. And whatever that looks like, only you will know. So listen and remember who you are. All right, thank you so much for joining me here. We're gonna be doing more aligned messages like this. I know it's yap, but it's purposeful. It's conscious yap, right? It's conscious yap. Thank you so much for joining me here. Genuinely, continue to move in that art space. My name is Mark Anthony, here on Elevated Talk. All right, the Cosmic Show. And on a real note, a serious note. All right, I want to get close to the mic. Close to the mic. If you are looking to heal, I've left a divine chakra course. Not even looking to heal. If you are looking to bring harmony to your life, or if you are looking to face those roots, face the inner child trauma, face those things that are causing the mental suffering, and begin to heal, I've left a divine chakra course down below that discusses those things, breaks down the scientifics, breaks down the spirituality, so that we can begin to gain that clarity and that remembrance of the spiritual being that we are. All right. So that's my spiel. All right. And remember, freedom has always been an option. Y'all stay tuned. We're going to keep cooking. All right. It's just the beginning. Let's go. Peace.